Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Why the mic keeps muting itself. We've only got 2 stories on today's episode of the Morning Report. However, these are some really, really good stories that I am looking forward to discussing with you guys. We're going to be talking about some drama that went on Instagram just yesterday between 90 Day Fiancé stars Gino and Jasmine, both making major allegations against each other. And then we've also got to talk about the details that have been released surrounding Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo, their arrest, and the investigation into the multiple felony charges that the two of them are currently facing. Anyway, before we get into all of that, I really want to see who's here for today's episode of the show. Who we got with us joining us? Good morning, Kay Minor. Nice to see you. Good morning, Gala. Good morning, Jamie. 2 snaps in the Z formation. Bonjour, hamster. Hope you're doing well today. Good morning, Callie, Angie. Good morning, Amelia, Venetia, Becky, Kahara, Tamara. Good morning, Cami, Michelle. Angie Acacia. Oh yes, Michelle, that Amanda Bynes story. I was considering doing it, but I just thought it was a little bit too heavy. Major trigger warning, you guys. Amanda Bynes released a TikTok video where she accused the creator of Nickelodeon, or one of the top creators and writers of Nickelodeon and the Amanda Show, Dan Schneider, of you know what, and impregnating her when she was like 13 years old. It is really, really, really horrific what she's saying over there. And it's just, oh, listen, I needed a breather after I saw that video. There have been a lot of suspicions around it for a long time, but to hear her say it, first of all, I gotta say, I do believe her. That guy was very, very creepy. There was a whole documentary, Quiet on Set, I believe it was called, where a lot of former teen or child stars who acted under him had a lot to say. And so, yeah, I'm very devastated by that. And it would explain a lot about the Amanda Bynes that we see today. It's so sad how adults can totally derail the lives of children and cause them to just lose their spark before their lives even really begin. Absolutely horrific. And I'm so angry on Amanda's behalf as well. And listen, I hope that formal charges do come out, in the midst of these allegations as well. Very, very, very sad stuff. My goodness gracious. Good morning as well to Gwen. You guys can hear me now, though, I hope, right? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's so nice to see y'all. Oh, wait, we've got an insider today. We've got Kelly. Kelly, what is the tea? Kelly, can I drop a mic? Do you have time? Because I know sometimes y'all listen to me at work or while you're doing other things. If you've got time, Kelly, I'm going to drop a link in the chat box for you to call in with your tea about your friend who was on the flight with Porsha. This is a story that we covered on yesterday's episode of the show, you guys. Porsha, when she got off the plane from Vegas to Atlanta. We saw her being accompanied by some FBI agents. Her lawyers came out with some claims, claiming that somebody on the plane verbally assaulted her, and it was just this big mess, and Porsha is a victim in all this. So now Kelly here, our co-reporter, says that she has a friend who was on that flight with her. So let's see what kind of news she's got over there. Good morning, Shelby, Kristen. Good morning, Ronnie, Suzanne, JJ as well. So nice to see y'all, and good morning to all y'all streaming in. Also those of y'all watching from the bushes. Good morning, Steph, Castle Magic. It's been a while. Where you been, Boo? Nice to see you again. And yes, Kelly, just turn off the camera icon when you call in so that it'll just be your voice. Okay. Thanks so much. Hey, KK, nice to see you, Boo. I love that Jasmine said Gino needs to, oh yes, we're going to get into that Jasmine story. You know what I'm going to do? I am bookmarking you guys' comments about some of these stories, because that's what you guys like to do, which I love as well. Y'all, when you see the titles and the descriptions and whatnot, y'all get into your favorite stories that you want to talk about, which, you know, I find to be really exciting. So I'm going to bookmark them for when we get into the stories. So the Gino story, the Wendy story, all that stuff. I'm seeing all of you guys' comments streaming in. I'm also seeing you guys' comments about the Amanda Bynes situation and her allegations on her TikTok account, right? Unsurprising, very disturbing stuff. And the rumors have been around for a really, really, really long time surrounding Dan Schneider. And I hope that justice is served eventually, because listen, when there's smoke, or where there's smoke, there's fire typically, right? Okay, so Kelly is here ready to drop the tea, you guys. And Kelly, absolutely perfect. Your camera is off. So I will bring you up so you can share what your friend had to say. Hey, Kelly.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
Yeah. Perfect. We're so excited. Like, what's the scoop? What did your friend tell you about the flight?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, so this is one of my friends. She's one of my only Bravo friends. And she called me, I think it was yesterday, and she had been in Vegas vacationing with her family. She didn't even know that BravoCon was going on. But when she landed, she saw all of the signs for BravoCon and thought, oh, maybe I'll run into one of the housewives like in the wild or something. And so she got through her whole weekend. On Sunday, she got on that Delta flight and she started hearing a commotion. And she was sitting in the front rows of economy. So she was just behind the curtain with where first class is. And so she heard this commotion, and she said she only heard this one passenger like screaming, and she saw her pointing and saying something about, you know, she hit me, she did all these things, and she didn't even know this was Porsha that this lady was talking to.
Yeah.
And someone else in the cabin said, I think that's Porsha Williams. And so they kind of peeked and looked, and Porsha was sitting there not saying a word. So she didn't hear Porsha say anything. She didn't hear her do anything. And when the plane landed, she said they taught all the passengers to stay seated, and they escorted Porsha and this lady off the plane. And so Porsha was standing there as the rest of the passengers were deplaning, and my friend walked by her and she waved at her and said, "Hey, Porsha," and Porsha just like smiled and waved back at her and said she was really sweet. But she didn't see Porsha do or say anything wrong. So anyway, that was my boots on the ground for the day.
I love that, Kelly. Thank you so much. That's crazy. So Porsha was remaining really calm. Did your friends get to see the other lady? Like, did she have that look in her eye, like she might be a little bit off or something like that? Was she, I don't know, erratic or anything?
No. In fact, she said Porsha she didn't even hear her say anything. She didn't respond to this passenger. She did say Porsha looked beautiful in her fur coat. And she just people were saying hello to her as they were walking off the plane. So she didn't give that she was engaging at all with this woman. And I will tell you, my friend, the word she used was, she said she was just seemed like a Karen who was looking for attention. So I thought that was interesting. So I wanted to tell you that.
Thank you so much, Kelly. You're the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Grace. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye. Wow, you guys, some boots on the ground reporting. You love to see it. Thanks so much, Kelly. Wow, what are the odds? So listen, based on Kelly's story, it sounds like Porsha may have been the victim in that particular situation. And that would explain why she seemed so chill getting off of the airplane, being accompanied by the FBI agents. It doesn't, from what Kelly's saying, it doesn't really sound like Porsha was actually involved in any kind of physical altercation. Like, I didn't hear anything about a scuffle or anything like that. It seemed like Porsha looked perfectly fine. Like, when you're fighting, your hair might go everywhere, your makeup might get messed up and whatnot, but Porsha looked perfectly fine. So maybe this is something that was made up. Kelly says that the other woman seemed like a Karen who was just looking to make some trouble. I don't know, but so far it is looking like Porsha might come out of this entire situation without any charges against her. Maybe there will be some charges against the other woman, or maybe the FBI is just going to throw their hands up about this particular situation. Wow, I was not expecting that on this Wednesday. Consider this my lucky day. Thanks again, Kelly. Now, you guys, why don't we get into, speaking of housewives, why don't we get into our Wendy Williams and Eddie Osefo story? As y'all know, the two of them are facing some major felony charges involving fraud, insurance fraud, things like that, okay, and lying to police officers who are currently accusing them of faking a break-in at their home. So new information has come out courtesy of the U.S. Sun about where the police currently are in terms of the investigation into Wendy in particular. So they're saying that investigators have officially gained access to Wendy's Gmail accounts. So there's an account for Wendy, there's an account for Eddie, and there's a third one with neither of their names attached to it, which might have been the Gmail account that they were using to keep track of, either joint expenses, joint something in the home, or it might have been something that they were using for a business, or maybe it was something that they were using for scamming. We do not currently know, but that's as far as the information stretches right now in regards to those email accounts in particular. So in addition to the way that they got these accounts was through a search and seizure warrant that was served to Google, who then gave them access to the accounts. Wendy's Instagram accounts as well were also accessed by the investigative crew. And that is particularly because of one of the allegations against her is that she filed missing claims on some of her jewelry and some of her clothes, only for her to be shown on Instagram wearing those jewelry, wearing those clothes and whatnot, right? And so they want to be able to get the actual metadata into those photos to see when those photos were taken and whatnot, I believe. What else? So in order to have access to that, of course, they got a search and seizure warrant through Meta platforms as well, or to Meta, who then gave them access. So the two Instagram accounts of Wendy's that they were looking through included Wendy Osefo and the Dr. Wendy show as well. And so another search and seizure warrant was also served on Wendy's Apple ID, and another one was served to a company called Text Now, as well as home security companies Ring and ADT Security Services, because they really want to see what was going on the night or the day of the purported burglary, right? And sorry, this is something that Layla and I were saying on Campire's YouTube channel the other day, right? Which is that we don't think that this is going to be in their favor. I believe that when the investigative crew looks through the Ring camera footage or the ADT footage, they're going to see nothing but some damn tumbleweeds, because there were no robbers, in my humble opinion, right? And that is not everything. There were also some other search and seizure warrants issued to Ali Bank, American Express, and Capital One. So I believe this is in regards to some of the items that they claimed were stolen, but that they had actually returned, right? So they want to see the transactions for those items taking place with these banks as well. So something that's making me laugh is that retailers are also included in this discovery process, including Van Cleef, Louis Vuitton, Saks, and Ascot Diamonds. So again, these are items very, very expensive, thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars worth of items, maybe even in the hundreds of thousands, that they claimed were lost or stolen, that they were returning or fudging around with. allegedly, right? So there's a lot going on, you guys, an awful, awful lot. Wendy and Eddie are fighting this case tooth and nail. They're claiming that the arrest was not legal due to, quote, defects in the charging documents. They also said that, quote, any statements made by the defendant were voluntary and made after the defendant was properly advised of his or her rights. The state also appeared to be trying Wendy and Eddie as co-defendants, despite the couple requesting to be tried separately. A lot of people have been asking why Wendy and Eddie want to be tried separately. I do have a video on that I really want to make, actually. But the long story short is that if these two committed this crime, right, they committed this crime to differing degrees, right? So for them, they would have to have different strategies involving their defense against these allegations. And so that's a major reason why they might want to be charged separately. I don't know that it has anything to do with one throwing the other under the bus or one trying to take the heat or anything like that. I think that they just, maybe it's another case of, oh, I want to hire these lawyers, but you want to hire those ones. I want to go with this strategy, but you want to go with that one. You know what? Why don't we just do things separately? Because this is life or death here. I'm not saying they're facing the death penalty, but this is very serious. They could be facing decades behind bars. So they have to go with whatever they feel in their gut is the best strategy. And sometimes separating your trials is the best way for you to go and really hammer this out as an individual instead of a couple. So lots going on in the case of the Osefos. Again, I really do not see it for them. I think that they should take a plea deal if they are offered a plea deal, because I think that if they take this to trial, they will both be found guilty. And I think that they both would be facing an awful lot of time behind bars, which is obviously not something that you want to see for young parents, right? They've got these young children at home. Obviously it's their own fault. And if they did do this, they do deserve to spend time behind bars. However, it's still a sad situation at the end of the day. So yeah, very, very, very disappointing. You guys are talking about Wendy Osefo. What you mean? Did I say Wendy Williams by accident? My bad. Two Snap says, Wendy and Eddie are smarter than this. Unbelievable, but not really. Exactly. That is the thing that shocked me the most. I think that these are the smartest people on their particular franchise, if not smarter than half the other people, more than half the other people in the Housewives universe in general. How are they the ones who got caught up in such a stupid scheme? Steph says, shaking my head, this is why Eddie's family disapproved of Wendy. LOL, this mess is crazy. I'm telling you, like, how do you get caught up in this? They were making that good Housewives money suddenly, the Bravo money to pay for all that plastic surgery money, all that Botox money, all that filler money, all those travels, first class travels. And this is what you decide to do? Like, come on. Allegedly, right? Allegedly. Kalia says, text now is for when you don't want people to have your actual number. I use it for jobs. Also, it's kind of like one of those Google numbers or whatever you call it, Google Voice. Thank you for that insight. I was actually quite curious about that. Like, I think some influencers use that. They'll be like, oh, text me for updates on this, that, or the other, or something like that. I think that's what they use. Lexi says, Eddie is a grown man and an attorney responsible for his own actions and should know better. And I agree with that. That is the scary part. Eddie is a lawyer. You're a lawyer. Like, you should be 1,000 steps ahead of this. Like, if you're going to commit a crime, you have to do it from the end, thinking about all the ways you can get caught, right? And with that in mind, why would you not caution your wife against wearing the stolen goods on social media? Why would you, right? Why would you go and put in writing, hey, I want to get this insurance claim as high as possible? Or is that Wendy who said that, right? Or why wouldn't you coach your wife, who is not a lawyer, against putting any of that in writing? I'm trying to bump this up as much as possible. Like, that is very, very incriminating, right? Like, it's just very disappointing, this entire situation. And again, like, they were already living well. They had this nice, big, beautiful house. They had all this travel going on, everything. So why go to these lengths? Lexi says it's zero shame, and I agree. Good morning, East Awesome. East Awesome. We had breaking news. You see Kelly over here? She called in with some tea about Porsha. Her friend was on that flight. You got to rewind to get that tea, but essentially Porsha was the victim there, it seems like. And I agree, Kelly. She's got such a beautiful, truly, truly beautiful family, beautiful children. And the fact that they might be missing their parents for several years due to such a stupid act of greed. It's heartbreaking for them. It truly, truly is. Thanks so much, Jamie. Yes, you guys, if you're enjoying the show, please don't hesitate to hit that like button. Good morning, Hamlet. Two Snaps says material items aren't that serious to scam. Exactly. And they are in the public eye. Like, you have so many opportunities when you're on such a big platform like Bravo to make that money. Wendy was doing a great job of that. She launched her candle line. She launched her book. She launched her talk show, all sorts of things that she could be using to make money. She could launch so much more. Happy Eddie launched Happy Eddie. So why go and do this instead of just creating more and more revenue streams, right? East Austin says, I have no idea what's happening, but I am windmilling for Wendy and Eddie. Free Dr. Wendy. Well, so that's what you're asking about. Sorry about this story. So basically the update about this story is that the authorities have officially gotten a bunch of search and seizure warrants. So they've got access to all of their email accounts, their social media accounts, their credit card companies and whatnot statements. They've also got the luxury brands that they were returning items that were supposedly stolen too. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes there for the two of them. I'm sorry. I know you love them. I do too, but I think they're guilty, and I think that they will be found guilty. And I really do hope that they take a plea deal that could potentially help them serve as little time as possible, if, not no time. Steph says, it must be a new trend to get locked up on Potomac, right? Isn't it crazy? It's like a revolving door. As soon as Karen comes out, here goes Wendy. It's going to be so interesting to watch the juxtaposition of the two on this season of the show. When he says, decadence will be our downfall, gag it. Ain't nobody buy this. Well, you know what? You're right. But listen, she tried. It was honest. It was an honest business, damn it. Why resort to this? And I agree, Ronnie. I'm sorry, Wendy. I'm sorry, Eddie. I love you guys. You guys are my favorite couple on Housewives of Potomac. I know there's not much competition because pretty much everybody's single, but still, a mess. Listen, I think I have a sound effect for this that I should have played a little bit earlier, but here it is. I think the judge is ultimately going to be locking the two of them up. I'm sorry, y'all. That's just my opinion. I really do think that that's how things are going to end, which is rather unfortunate. Two very, very successful, very, very influential, especially Wendy with all the stuff that she's doing in politics and whatnot. Like, really? Now, how are you going to get into the White House for your interviews now? Mess. By the way, good morning to everybody joining us. We've got Suzanne, Sarah Ann, we've got Becky Davis as well. We've got Deshauna, we've got Trey. Good morning to you all. And thanks, Trey. Good morning, Kate. Also nice to see you. Channel members, I hope you enjoyed that other chapter that I uploaded for you guys yesterday from the Ashley Reality Roundup book. What we were talking about yesterday, for those of you who are not channel members, I'll give you some of the scoop anyway. Caitlin and Tyler. So the book that we're reading together is Teen Mom Confidential, Behind the Scenes Secrets of the Teen Moms, right? So yesterday we were talking about the secret arrest of Caitlin and Tyler that was never shown on the show, and some other stuff as well involving the girls and whatnot. No, I did not, Steph. What did she say? Give me that tea, please. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, what was my other story? Yes, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about that Gino and Jasmine stuff. Can I ask you guys, do you think that Gino really loved Jasmine and that Jasmine really loved Gino? Like, from my understanding of their relationship, like, Gino stopped sleeping with her and then she wanted to get it elsewhere. She tried to push this open marriage situation onto him. And now we're finding out that she was already seeing Matt before she tried to push the open marriage situation onto Gino. And that led to a lot of mess. Him exposing that led to hell pretty much between the two of them. And I really want to get you guys' take overall, because a lot of people accuse Jasmine of using him for a green card. But listen, wasn't she out here sucking his toe? Wasn't she out here proclaiming that she likes her men kind of ugly? All that kind of stuff. Like, I think she really was into him. And, in a relationship, in a marriage, if one person is just not interested in like the physical side or whatever, like, I could see why that would be really exhausting to the other partner. I don't think it's an excuse for cheating, but that's why I understood when she wanted to open the marriage. But now finding out that she potentially had lied about opening the marriage and that she was already cheating and was using that as a cover. Like, that's quite upsetting to hear. So let's get into that in particular. Okay. So Gino blew the lid off on it all over on his Instagram account, right? So he posted some photos with some timestamps on it to show that Jasmine and Matt had been spotted at Disneyland before Jasmine came to him with the open relationship request, right? And so you see the timestamps that it was from January 2024. And it says this is 2.5 months before the last resort and the open marriage date. So she basically had already been seeing Matt. We don't know how long she had been seeing Matt at this point already, but it proves that there was something going on over there. But I think that Jasmine has long maintained that she and Matt were friends. And I think she could very easily say that friends can go to things like that together, right? They can go to Disney World and whatnot. Like, you know, maybe some of you guys have gone to Disney World with your opposite sex friends or whatever, you know? So I don't know that has the effect that Gino wants for it to have personally. I'm not saying I don't believe him. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, but I'm just saying and we already know how Jasmine claps back to that. So she clapped back with this photo. And I'm sorry, but it tickled me. It tickled me a lot. So she posted a picture, an AI photo of like a rat with a hat. And we know that hat is Gino's hat. It says, this picture is from before the last resort taken at Disney, cheating on me with Mickey Mouse. Haters are going to say it's AI. Jasmine, I am sorry, but you are absolutely hilarious. That's crazy. Why would you do that man like that, right? And then she went on to take things to a darker place, though, right? So there is going to be a trigger warning here for DV because, again, things got taken to a really, really dark and ugly place, right? So Jasmine followed it up by sharing a series of comments, of musings about people who look for love abroad and how some of them are not really looking for love at all. In fact, they might just be looking for somebody to manipulate. And this is something that you do often see in the Love is not the Love is Blind, but in the 90 Day Fiance community, right? We can't even lie. A lot of these people, they're just looking to exploit poor people. So let's get into what exactly it is that Jasmine had to say. Some people don't look for love abroad. They look for control. Instead of seeking a partner, they seek someone they believe they can feel superior to. It's not romance. It's a superiority complex disguised as a relationship. Listen, she's right. Shout out to the passport bros, right? And I believe that Gino is a passport bro. The moment the person they brought from another country stops being obedient, the manipulation starts. Instead of owning their flaws, they fall back on the tired accusation of, you used me for a green card. It's not truth. It's blackmail. It's easier for them to blame immigration than to admit they failed as a partner and as a human being, right? Listen, I think it's true, but I also do think that sometimes these people coming from overseas are using these people too, right? But here's my thing. They're both being used sometimes. Like, for example, Danielle and Muhammad. Danielle, you knew damn well you were not pulling no Muhammad in the United States and you had to go abroad to find one, because one who already had the papers would not be with you. So you're using him just like he's using you. I'm not going to feel bad for you. Just saying. Next. Boom. See how everyone criticizes me and accuses me of cheating for something my husband agreed to, but when it comes to an American woman doing worse, everyone finds it fine and starts defending them. How do we call it? All because I'm Latina. Mama huevos, pinches culeros. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, girl. So who is she talking about when she says that the American woman does it worse? I believe she's talking about people on her show, but I don't know who. I don't know if it's, what's the name of that girl, Cara, who was accused of cheating on her husband, Guillermo? I'm not sure. Every time there's a Latino person on the show, see how we're treated by the own cast. It doesn't happen when they're Eastern European or from any other part of the world. Look at the current situation in the US. Who is all the hatred directed to? Us, the Hispanic people. And so some people were saying that she might have been referring to Yara here because Yara can be a little bit tough on Jovi. However, in Yara's defense, they look like a couple that you would find like naturally anyway. Like, it's not like you're looking at somebody who takes amazing care of themselves and looks a certain way and then their partner and you're like, it feels like somebody, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get that with that relationship. And Yara's also not asking for an open relationship either. So I do think that there is sort of a major difference between the two situations. Although I will not discount, what she's saying about there being xenophobia towards Latino people in the US, especially right now. So she says, think about it. We have a white person with superiority complex yelling at the top of his lungs, get out of my country. I reported you to immigration, blah, 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 and taking zero accountability of the bad husband and person he was. Are people saying anything about it? No, not on the cameras, neither most people watching it. Not even one cast member stepped and said anything about it. Why? Because people find it okay. And I do agree that Gino in general was not a good husband to Jasmine. Gino just didn't seem to want to be intimate with Jasmine. I don't know if he's got a corn addiction or what, but there was something missing there in that relationship. She did bring it up to him several times, and he had no intentions of changing it. So what was she supposed to do at the end of the day, right? Definitely not cheat, of course, but it was obvious that that marriage was just not going to last. And, it would have been the same even if she was an American woman as well. No woman, I think, with a healthy drive is going to be putting up with that. So she says, last night at the mansion, people asking me, did you use Baldy, aka Gino, for a green card? Clown. I didn't hear anyone asking Gino, why did you share Jasmine's nudes and make her lose her job? Great question, right? Why didn't you drive her anywhere or help her get a driver's license? Another great question, because not driving her to do, things that she needs to do to take care of herself. Like, for example, she wanted to go to the gym and all types of things. That is very, very neglectful, especially if you're not going to be allowing her to get a driver's license. And who are you to even disallow or ban or prohibit an adult from getting a driver's license? That she needs to be independent in such a car-reliant city. Very strange, right? Why didn't you include her children in the visa? Another great question. Why did you quit your job without telling Jasmine? Even though you were free 24/7, you still neglected her any kind of help? Another great question. These are great questions that people are not asking him. I think that part of this has to do with xenophobia, and the other part might have to do with misogyny, to be honest with you, right? Because it's nicer to portray the narrative of the poor American being taken advantage of. Listen, I'm sorry, y'all. I know a lot of people don't like Jasmine, but she's throwing bars out here. I'm with her 100%. You know what I love about being a Latina? My mom didn't raise a pendeja. I prefer people not liking me because I will always speak my mind with no filters and without giving an ish. All right. So to accompany this rant of hers, Jasmine wrote something in some Spanglish. Okay. She says, born Latina, raised fuerte y unstoppable en todo lo que hago. So born Latina, raised strong and unstoppable in all that I do. I carry the fire of my ancestors, the resilience of my abuelas y la pasión de mi cultura in every step I take. The resilience of my foremothers and the passion of my culture in every step I take. I don't shrink for anyone. I don't apologize for my dreams. Y cada reto solo me hace más poderosa. What is a reto? That I don't know, you guys, but every, setback only makes me more powerful. I am fuerza. I am strong. I am orgullo. I am proud, and I am unapologetically me. So good for her. Listen, I feel her. I'm with Jasmine 100%. Was she a perfect wife? I don't think so. Right. But was Gino a perfect husband? No, he wasn't either. Yet only one of them gets picked apart, and it's not Gino. Makes you wonder what's going on. Let me get into some of the comments that y'all left a little bit earlier about this. KK had said, I love that Jasmine said, Gino needs to know I'm not the same person that couldn't control my emotions. Proceeds to take off her underoos and dump a drink in his suitcase. One thing about Jasmine is she is absolutely fiery. And, it really goes to show, girl, you do not know what you're talking about. You still are that same person who cannot control your emotions. Ramster says, Gino and Jasmine, the man with the weird hair on the back of his head. Remember when she took off his hat when she was pissed at him for sharing her nudes? That was hilarious. And the woman whose voice makes you want to pull out your hair. Damn. So it's safe to say that you do not like either of them, Ramster, if I am not mistaken. Womp, womp, womp. Let's see what else y'all have to say. So those were the comments that came in at the top of the episode. I want to get into the comments that you guys are leaving fresh here. Let's see. Shelby says, if I'm married, I'm not doing anything solo with the opposite ex out of respect. And I can agree with that too. I agree with that. And I feel like I'm similar to that. I wouldn't be doing that either. I think it's just like a weird vibe. Especially if your friend looks better than your man. We all have eyes. We could all see her friend look better than her man. You cannot be going around with that guy to things like Disneyland. It's looking like a date, right? It's just not a good look at all. Good morning, Caramel. Good morning, Shar. Nice to see you. Ramster says they are both morons, but Matt was blowing her back out before the open marriage saga. Damn. And I agree. I do believe that that's what was happening in this particular situation. Shelby says, doesn't even have to be married. I'm not disrespecting my partner by hanging out alone with the opposite ex, period. Listen, I like your style. Good morning, Ali. Ramster says, Jasmine even kisses her dogs behind. She will suck anything without a thought. Yuck! Oh my God. I didn't know she was doing that. That's nasty. Why was she doing that? What would be the purpose of doing that, right? And I agree, Ali. We've got a birthday, you guys. Our girl Shem has just turned 32. Happy birthday, Shem. I'm so excited. How are you celebrating your birthday? Listen, let me pull up that birthday song. Yeah, guys, please help join me in wishing our girl Shem a happy 32nd birthday. Wow, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Okay, let me say it all over. I love that. I really love celebrating you guys' birthdays. Thanks so much for celebrating your birthdays over here on the Morning Report with me and everybody else here. That's so amazing, Shem. I hope you have the best day ever. I hope you have the best weekend ever, celebrating, doing whatever it is that your heart desires. Happy 32nd birthday. Oh my God, we're not even a month apart, you and I. I love that. Hey, Flower Love, Gino is definitely a passport. Exactly. He has to own it. And passport bros, they're not looking to help their girlfriends or their wives live better lives. They're not. They're looking to find vulnerable women and girls, because sometimes these men are going for little girls, like that American guy who has that teenager from Colombia, Jasmine and Luke or something like that. Madeline and Luke, like some of these guys are total creeps too. So I don't think that there are these big victims who are being manipulated by these ladies who are just struggling to survive more often than not. There's a reason they're going for those women in particular. Let's keep it real, y'all. Let's keep it real. Ramster says, mind you, it's Gino's own fault. All of it. It's what you get when you go for a sugar baby. And exactly, that's where he found her. The whole purpose of a sugar baby relationship is to use each other. The older person is supposed to be using the other person to siphon their youth and their good looks. And the younger person is supposed to be using the older person for money, access, all those sorts of things. So it's a wash. That is the whole basis of this relationship and this marriage. There is no victim here. When he says maybe it's Big Ange all on her back. Oh, and yeah, that's true. But Big Ange got dragged. She was abusing that man. I am so happy that Michael got away and he is safe now, because that woman is scary. Like, I imagine that she was probably beating him behind the scenes. She is terrifying. Kiki says, I think Gino gets off on controlling women, wanting them to be pretty for his ego. This isn't the first time he searched for a poor Hispanic overseas woman. He admitted that. Exactly. Gino is no victim. I'm sorry. Y'all are not about to make me feel bad for a passport, bro. It's not happening in this lifetime at all. And by the way, you guys, thanks so much for sending in the B-Day love for our girl, Shem Gem. It's so cool that she's got her birthday today. She is a November 19 Scorpio. She almost missed the cutoff. Phew, you made it. Thank God. Again, I really, really hope that you have a fantastic 32nd birthday, Shem Gem. Cheers to you. I'm going to catch back up with some of you guys. KK says it's also entirely possible that he's not attracted to women at all. I mean, you know what? Maybe that would explain why he's not banging them. I don't think he was banging the other one either. Like, he was acting like he's never even touched a woman's kneecap in his life, you know, or maybe it disgusts him, the thought of touching a woman's kneecap or earlobe or something like that, you know, like that's a possibility. Shem says, I've been so confused about Jasmine and Gino for a hot minute. Yeah, that relationship was, listen, I really, really do think that she loved him. I really do. But I think they both had their own demons. Maybe there's a lot of resentment because, again, Gino purposely left her children off of the visa thing. And she gets the heat for that, which is crazy to me. I still think it's crazy that she went to the US without her kids, but it is possible that she thought that like by being there, it would like help speed up the process, blah, blah. But unfortunately, it's been several years now and they're still all the way back there. Now she's got her daughter, Matilda, in the US. And so, she can't just leave with Matilda and go back to see her other kids because Matt wouldn't be allowing that, obviously, and as he shouldn't. So it's just like a big mess all around. And exactly, two snaps, no relationship works if the people aren't genuine. Like the true intentions are always going to come out and there's not a strong enough foundation, right? Or a sense of love or anything like that to make that actually work in the long run to survive all the highs and lows of a relationship. The highs and lows of a relationship are already difficult enough to get through in a regular, loving, authentic relationship. But if you're just faking the funk, it's like, listen, I'm not faking this anymore. I got other things to do, right? Shem says, I'm going to be playing a video game for at least 4 hours. I have dinner plans tonight, and I just picked up my vegan you were talking about that tiramisu cake. I love that. Yes. Well, good for you, Shem Jam. You got to pass that B-Day any way you want. And I love that you're doing it exactly your way. And please come back tomorrow and tell us how your dinner was. Yes. Anytime. Becky says, I only watched a couple of seasons and had to stop because there was just too much. She's crazy, but she speaks some truth in her bat-ish crazy moments. And I agree, right? I agree. Just like that monologue that she just delivered on Instagram, I think she was 1,000% right in everything she said about Gino and about a lot of these passport bros who purposely look for struggling women in the developing world to date and to marry. And you know what? And a lot of people, even in the comment section, what's so crazy to me, Ramsar, is people will be dragging her constantly. Like, oh, she's so terrible to him. She's this, she's that. Guys, she's only 18 years old and he's in his 30s. What is a man in his 30s doing with an 18-year-old? And mind you, they've been dating for a while. So how old was she when she started dating him? Underage. So why are we dragging somebody who was preyed upon by a man, a full-blown man, in a country where he makes a lot of money as an engineer and whatnot. And he went out of his way to go and seek out a poor little teenage girl who's not even a woman. Why are people dragging her? This is the misogyny that I keep talking about in the reality TV universe. Like they always attack the women, even though they're the victims in these situations. Madeline is a victim of Luke. Luke is not a victim of Madeline. Please, come on, y'all. Come on. And that's the other thing. A lot of these sugar daddy relationships and this and that, the men are lying about even having money. Great question, Two Snaps. Does Gino have money, sugar? No, not really. Didn't you see him shopping at the thrift shop? He was trying to find like a new wardrobe to impress the ladies, but he doesn't have much money. So he was shopping at the thrift shop. So why are you on a sugar daddy website? Why are you on a sugar? It reminds me of the other one. Oh my God, guys, I used to get D threats because I always supported Anfisa over Jorge. Because Jorge was a liar. Similar thing. Oh, I'm so rich. I'll take care of you in America. She comes all of a sudden. Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have this. You only love me for my money. Meanwhile, you're like 300 pounds and you want to be with like the thinnest woman you can find with all the plastic, this and that. Would you be with her if she were your size? No, you wouldn't. So stop with this. Oh, I'm such a victim. No, these guys are master manipulators. Stop it. Ali says, Big Ange, always on TikTok live. I had to block her due to the jump scares. Is she still using those vicious filters? She uses these filters that make her look like AI, and it's really, really creepy. There was another user on TikTok. She was on one of those Netflix shows, and anytime she posts a video of her on TikTok, it's that I think it's called Bold Glamour, and it was so creepy to me. I liked what she said, but I didn't like the filter situation. It was very strange, so I had to block her too. I don't like that. Well, Woody, that's a great question. That's a great question. If you're not going to be, why can't she just be ugly then? Go get yourself a nice ugly one. Why does she have to be so beautiful? A mess. And thank you so much, LaDonna. Happy birthday to all the Scorpios. Oh, that's your birthday. Well, happy belated birthday to you, LaDonna, my Scorpio sister. Ramster says Jasmine leaving her 2 sons behind in Panama and now having a baby in the US. That's the part I don't get. Exactly. That is very, very, very strange to me. It really is. I don't know how she did it, to be honest with you. But at the same time, maybe she was naive. Maybe she thought that going to the US would would help speed up the process or would force Gino to do it. But now she's in a situation where it's just never happening, or most likely never happening. And now she's anchored to the US through her daughter. And I don't think she'll ever live with her sons again throughout their childhood, which is really sad. Gail, oh, it's your daughter Jenna's birthday, and Jenna is here. Well, happy birthday to you too, Jenna, my fellow Scorpio. Listen, guys, we got another morning report birthday here. Please help me wish Jenna Martin a happy 38th birthday. Happy birthday, Jenna. What are you doing to celebrate? Let's get your song going.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Who would have thought? Listen, Sagittarius, the ball is in your court 2 days from now. Let's see how many of you guys we have out here. And no, it's awesome. Not at all. And like I always say, listen, those guys are the ones who judge women's weight the worst. Like, I have never seen a group that is more eagle-eyed about how much women weigh than overweight men, and it drives me nuts. It really does. That's in my experience in real life anyway. Sometimes the things they say, you're like, really? Did you see that thing? Speaking of, did you see Donald Trump? He had the audacity to call this reporter Miss Piggy. He said quiet piggy or something like that. Why would you say that, Donald Trump? Like, where's your six packs? Please, 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 please. So Rapture says, like MTV, TLC makes all these situations happen and scripts a lot of the mess. And I can agree with that too, right? Listen, oh, speaking of, I want to get into that recent episode of 90 Day Fiance the other way. I got to watch that actually tonight so I could talk about it with you tomorrow. Good morning, Natalie. Nice to see you. Be wise. Happy belated birthday. I hope you had a happy birthday. Where were you? Why didn't you pop up with us? Well, you know what? You were probably out enjoying your B-Day. What did you get up to for your B-Day? Happy belated, you guys. Oh my God, there's so many November Scorpios in here. I absolutely love it. Shem says, I don't understand why Jasmine had another baby either. Exactly. It makes it impossible to be able to go back for your sons. I think that Jasmine should have went home after her marriage with Gino didn't work out. Listen, Panama is a beautiful, beautiful. And by the way, you guys, let's spread some birthday love for Bynes as well. Bynes, I'll be playing your song too soon. Panama is a beautiful country. There are a lot of Americans escaping America to go live in Panama. You know, like, she lived a nice life there from what I saw when I was watching her over there. So I don't understand why she thought staying in America, especially with the America of today, is better than being at home with your kids in Panama where you're living perfectly well. She's had men taking care of her for a really long time. So what is it, right? Huh? Oh my God, I thought you guys said it was Jenna's birthday today. Okay, well, happy non-birthday. No, I'm joking. Well, happy early birthday to you then, Jenna. My bad. Two Snap says, Grace, I am a Sagittarius, December 4th, same date as Jay-Z. I love that. Happy early birthday, Sag. My goodness gracious. Yeah, I don't know. Again, we saw Jasmine's life in Panama. She wasn't living like bad. Like, she had a house and everything. Like, why wouldn't she go back after the marriage didn't work out, you know? And then you're talking about how, like, you know, in the US, like, there's a lot going on, you know, facing, you know, Latinos in particular and whatnot. You would think that that would even motivate her even more to be back home with her kids. I don't know. Something about that was just really strange to me. I feel like if I were in her situation, I would have gone back home to be with my kids personally. Just saying. Becky says, but why is he still? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's very strange. Very, very strange. Oh, Lord. I've been hoodwinked, but it's okay. We do have Bynes to wish a happy birthday before we head out today. Exactly. She had a career, a nice life. So why leave your kids behind? What's your excuse? Because some of these people, they're fleeing like war-torn countries, famine, all these things. Like, they're really struggling. Like, you know, some of these ladies in the Philippines, when we see them in the Philippines, you know, they're bathing alongside rats. Like, remember that guy who was deaf and his fiance, she was also deaf in 1 year or something like that. They were bathing beside rats. Wasn't same thing with Big Ed and Rose. Those ones, okay, go fight do whatever you have to do, you know. But in Jasmine's case, she had a perfectly fine life. So it's very, very strange. Very strange. Bonsoir, Millie. How are you doing? Millie, are you the one living in Kenya? Nice to see you. How are things going in Kenya? I'm really, really trying to go as soon as possible. I think I might go, hopefully, like next year or something like that. That's like my goal. I really want to go back to Africa, y'all. I've been trying to go to Morocco, Kenya, Tanzania, Namibia, something like that. Maybe she can let go of the 90-day fiance. Yeah, maybe that's it. But the money is still around online, right? Like Rose, for example, we were just talking about her. Rose from 90 Day Fiance. She's still in the Philippines, but now she's making that good money. Making good money in the Philippines is better than making good money in the US, right? Like, because in the Philippines, your money goes a lot further than it does in the US. So now she is living a large over there, right? Whereas in the US, she would still be living like a mid to poor life with the same amount of money, right? Just saying. Two snaps. Oh, you guys are so lovely, at least from what I'm seeing over here. That's me. Oh, it is. Okay, well, there you go, Millie. Well, I hope things are going well over there. I'm so jealous of the weather right about now, especially sunk false fallacy. She's in, yeah, I think so too, which is really sad. Listen, there's nothing wrong with admitting, you miscalculated something, right? Just saying. Good morning, Paula. Thanks for becoming a member of my channel. I just posted some new videos this week, so hopefully you get to enjoy them. Listen, guys, I guess I gotta head out from today's episode of the show. Once again, happy birthday to Shemjem. I hope you have a great day celebrating your 32nd birthday. And we did also have another birthday. Bynes, our boo, is also she was celebrating her birthday just 3 days ago on November 16th. So I'm gonna be rolling out with some happy birthday music for Bynes as well. Please make sure to wish her a happy birthday. And if you guys enjoyed today's episode of the Morning Report, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you had a good time, okay? See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk more about the day's hottest stories. Bye, guys.
Happy birthday to you.